Hi everybody, I'm Zilla, Blitz, and welcome to another episode with Euro Truck Simulator 2. Today we have loaded on the back of our truck a Volvo Compacter, otherwise known as a steamroller in ancient times. We're going to be taking it from Innsbruck back to Bourges, France. And along the way we're going to swing by and visit Zurich and Bern, which are two cities we haven't been to yet in the game. And then we'll talk a little bit about our driver update, our AI driver experiment update. So we'll be doing a little bit of a kind of an adventure and check in on that. And other things to chat about as well. We've got a nice long 14-hour drive. We're going to go about 3 hours before we get some sleep. So lots of things to do and talk about. We will head here out of Innsbruck, get out on the highway, and then we shall check in soon. In game time right now, it is Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. We've got about 4 hours of sleep before, 4 hours of energy before we need to sleep. We have mountains all around us here too. Very cool views as we're heading out of Innsbruck. I'm excited to see Zurich and Bern, two cities that it just creates a little bit of a detour along the way. It adds about 2 hours to our trip. But considering that we've never been to either of those cities, I figured that would be good. That will give us all the cities in Switzerland. And not that there's an achievement for that, but still, it's nice to get to all the places and collect all the things. So we'll see you shortly as we get out on the highway here. So we're a little bit over an hour and a half into our journey, about 12 and a half hours left. And I actually messed up the game time. I thought it was Thursday morning. It's Wednesday evening. I was confused why the sun was off to the west. And then I looked down and realized that I looked at our arrival time rather than our departure time. So it's actually about 8:30 in the evening now. And we're going to need to sleep anyway. There's a rest area up ahead about an hour or so that we're going to pull over to and then check that out. But it's a fun drive so far. This is kind of the first time I think I know we've been on this road before, but I'm not sure I've driven it in the daytime. So many tunnels and climbs and ups and downs and stuff like this. Our truck has a lot of horsepower too, so it's handling the load rather easily here. I mean, the Volvo, I don't think this is very heavy, the Volvo steamroller. It's a small construction truck. Whoa, do you want to get a ticket? There we go. We were definitely speeding too. Didn't want to get a ticket like that guy. Now we get off here. Why is he stopped? What's going on? If no one runs it, come on, let's go. What are you doing, truck? You break down? Why are you stopped in the middle of... Okay. Not sure. I'm not sure I've seen that before, right? I mean, that truck was stopped for no reason. Now this, by the way, where we're going through this route, I've got the... if you saw the last episode, we did the... Oh, we got rain here too. Let's do that. Not lights. I need the lights on. What am I doing? Pee. There we go. Because you need to turn the windshield wipers on when you have to pee. That's why you press P. I'm sorry, distracted. Lots of things happening at once. Okay, windshield wipers are on. It's getting dark. This route, by the way, if you saw the last episode, we did the no GPS route. And this route here is that route that we followed. And I'm actually found it. I've seen it. It's easier sometimes, I think, to pay attention to the signs because I'm kind of paying attention to the GPS, and you realize sometimes you don't know which one of the routes they want you to take. So maybe I need to develop like a hybrid sense of being able to use the maps and the GPS at the same time. It's a tight turn. Oh, don't hit the wall. Oh, that was crazy. Okay, getting a little out of control here. There's a little bit of a tricky navigational piece in here. Okay, let's go down here. We go left around this big wide turn. All right, and now traffic. Okay. But yeah, so we're winding our way through this little town here. We'll head back out on the highway. We're going to sleep down the road and then stop in Zurich. We'll see you in a little bit as more adventures occur. About 10:30 in the evening now, and we are approaching our rest area up here. We're going to pull off and try to get some sleep here, which will solve the problem of hopefully driving in the dark and in the rain, and solve the problem of us being sleepy. So things to do here. We'll get gas. We will pull over, and we'll see you as we are waking up. That was a perfectly timed rest area. Our very first yawn is when I pulled into the parking area here. Good night. See you in, is it 8 hours? 9 hours? 21 to 6? 9 hours. Okay. Always wondered. I think I should know that after 100 hours in each game. For some reason I thought you just sleep 8 hours, but I guess it's 9 hours, right? So anyway, it's still raining, but we're back out on the road. It is now finally Thursday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. Got a full day of driving, still about 11 hours to go before we get to our final destination. Next adventure is taking a detour to explore Zurich. There's also a couple of question marks in Zurich, and there's one in Bern too, which is probably They could be viewpoints, I guess, but I think there are going to be dealers or recruiting agencies. And at some point, I have this wild fantasy that I'll be able to get that achievement. There's an achievement for, I think, visiting all the truck dealerships, and then another achievement for seeing and finding all the recruitment agencies. One of my wild dreams is that some point in the game, wow, we made a lot of money while we slept too. At some point in the game, be able to get those 2 achievements. So it's nice to kind of pick up the question marks when we see them. Sometimes I drive by them and I say, I'll get it next time. But then I realize, no, you got to kind of get those when you're there, right? Because you don't... Oh, speeding violation. Damn. Okay, so much for the perfect delivery out the window here. I was talking, wasn't paying attention, but we made a lot of money while we slept. We made 150,000 euros while we slept there, which brings up another topic is what to do with all our money. We'll do an update on the AI driver development patterns one. I think we see a pattern now. At least I think we can make a fairly comfortable conclusion about one fact of driver development, maybe 2. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I was thinking the next thing to try out is one that I think we actually already know the answer to. But I figure it might be it's just worth trying it anyway. It's, do AI trucks matter? Right? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. But just to be 100%, 100% absolutely true, I was thinking we would do an experiment with that. And to do that, again, we would need to be able to buy a base and then 5 trucks. So probably 250,000. The trucks will be cheaper because we're going to buy 2 really cheap trucks, 2 of the best trucks, probably like the Volvos that we got, and then 1 mid-range truck. And the idea will be working out of the same city, do the cheap trucks and develop the drivers exactly the same way. Do the trucks make a difference? Do the 2 cheap trucks make less money than the 2 expensive trucks? Or perhaps does that mid-range truck make the most money of all? There could be an argument that an inexperienced driver can't use the better trucks very well. So some thoughts there, but it'd be fun to just kind of clear that up. I'm fairly certain, 90% certain, that the trucks matter a lot, because especially what we saw in American Truck Simulator, where our 2 AI drivers were terrible until we upgraded their trucks, and then they started making a lot of money. But so that would mean we would need what? I think it's 200,000 roughly for a base, 250,000 for 5 trucks, 5 truck, 1.25. About $1.5 million should be enough to get that. So now we're on our detour to Zurich. So we're going to check out Zurich here on this rainy, dreary Thursday morning here in Europe. But we'll be there shortly. But that's the next experiment. So we need $1.5 million should be fine for that, I think. Oh, we have to upgrade the base too. Yeah, still maybe 1.6 million, which shouldn't actually take us that long at the rate we are raking in cash. We slept for 9 hours and we made 150,000 euros. So yeah, money's starting to pour in. We're at that point, I think, where the game hits that tipping point where money starts to become not really a factor. And I know some people have posted, Zurich discovered, yay, it doesn't help us with any achievement except our own interpersonal satisfaction. I know there are people out there who said they have like 175 trucks and 37 bases and they can't spend the money fast enough. And we're not at that point yet, but we are at the point where pretty much if you drive for 12 hours, you're going to make enough to buy a base or a truck, which starts to really feel like the money starts to work in our favor at this point. So here we are in Zurich. We've babbled away in this time. Let's check in as we start to see some of the question marks and visit the town here. Alrighty, recruitment agency on the left-hand side. There we go. Discovered that. Picked that one up nice. We just got to go around the corner now and grab what I'm assuming is a dealership. We can make this light. Yes. Alrighty. DAF dealership. And there we go. Picked it up. Nice. 2 question marks gobbled up, and we are back on our way. We've picked up Zurich in Switzerland, 2 of the 3 Swiss cities in the game. Off now to Bern. We'll be on our way. Oh, by the way, one of the reasons why I want to go back to Bourges in France is that we have 3 French cities left to get the achievement for visiting all the French cities. We've got 28 out of 31 French cities, and so I want to stay focused on that achievement. It seems like every time I go someplace, I get distracted about 90% of the way there, and then I leave. It's the same thing in American Truck Simulator. I get to like 9 out of 10 cities or 13 out of 15 cities in the state, and then squirrel, and I'm off visiting someplace else. Sometimes like a DLC comes out and we'll go explore it and things like that. But here we go. Swiss flag on the right hand side. But for the most part, yeah, I must stay focused here too. So we will get there. And Bourges is close to Saint Laurent, which is the one of the other towns we need in France. And I'm not quite sure. I know someone posted a comment, a very helpful comment, thank you, mentioning that why there were more French towns listed in the game than there are potential towns to visit. Because I think we have 5 French towns that are as yet unvisited, and we only have to visit 3 more cities to complete the 28 out of 31 for all the French cities. Wow, this is like a little racetrack here. This is kind of fun. And the reason is, as they explained, that sorry, I just got to pay a little bit of attention. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. The reason is that, as they explained, is that some of the ones that are designated on the map are for nuclear power plants, so you don't have to go to those to get the achievement for the cities. So 3 French cities left to go, and this will put us nice and close to one of the 3 remaining cities that we've got. Anyway, still making our way through this rainy Swiss day here, climbing up this little steep incline. We'll get back out on the highway, and we will see you as we get closer to Bern. There we go. A couple hours down the road, Bern discovered. That covers Switzerland. We've got all the 3 cities in Switzerland. Again, no achievement for it, but there is a sense of satisfaction now that we're kind of picking up some of... Oh, I want to go left. Oh, good. Up ahead here. Good, because there is a question mark in this city as well. In our quest for all the question marks in the game, this will get us one step closer to... I feel like it's kind of an expanding universe, though, because I feel like DLCs are getting launched faster than with more question marks than I'm gobbling up question marks, so might be a never-ending quest. But here we are in Bern. I confess it's probably not as pretty if it were sunny rather than raining, which is always the way with cities, right? If you go to a city in a bad weather, you don't like the city as much as if the weather's really nice. But we will enjoy Bern despite the inclement weather here. One of the things I've been noticing too as I've been driving is that I was thinking back today, even just kind of going around rotaries and taking some corners and things like that. Like early on, probably for the first 50 hours or more of playing this game, and the same is true, I think, of American Truck Simulator too, although I picked that one up quite a bit later after this. Man dealer. Nice. All right, we should get that. Ding. Nice. Truck dealer discovered, question mark, removed. That I've gotten a lot, not say a lot better, but I've improved at the game, right? Because I very rarely now take out signs on the side of the road, making corners. Even if you know it, like mentally you get, one of the things you get drilled into you early on, especially by some of the comments too, is swing the turns wide, take your turns wide and everything like that. It's easy to forget when you just jump into a game and start playing like that. And wide is one thing, but then getting some of the turns wide and getting them correct is another thing. So I do remember continuously wiping out traffic, street signs on the right side of the road or left side of the road, taking corners and things like that. But it's rare when that happens. And I remember also in the beginning of the game, consistently going over the rotaries, just kind of crossing right over them, in the middle of them and stuff like that, and not being very good at kind of making those corners around rotaries. And likewise too, it's very rare now where I think I go over curbs still quite a bit, still working on it. I do go over curbs for sure, but it's much less frequently than it was at the beginning of the game. So small growth and improvement, but that's kind of, I think that takes for whatever reason, that just takes a lot of driving time for me anyway. I'm sure some people are much quicker at it and much better at it, but not for me. It took quite a while. Lights, wipers off. Good. Rain has stopped. It's now, what time is it here? 10 o'clock in the morning, so might have to sleep one more time. We got about 7.5 hours left, but we are making good time now. That's our second city. Now we're back on no detours, straight to Bourges in France. We will make our way there with our Volvo steamroller. So we'll see in a little bit. Next, we're going to talk about the AI driver update, the AI driver development program. So I'm excited to talk about that. See you in a minute. So about 5 hours left. That drive to the, what would it be, the west of Bern was really pretty. Just a single lane, well, 2-lane highway, 1 lane going each way, kind of winding through the Swiss and French countryside. Really nice ride in there, so that was kind of nice to see. And now we are back, I think, just joining up here with a much larger highway that's going to take us to our final destination, which we have about 5 hours left to go. So we're in France now, making pretty good time. And thank you, by the way, to everybody who posted comments. A bunch of people posted very helpful comments explaining the road systems in Europe and why they're all numbered differently. And the crux of the matter comes down to the idea that it's each country has their own numbering systems. And so, especially in that last drive that we were in, when we're doing that with no GPS, you're crossing a lot of country borders, right? We're in France, Switzerland, Austria. So we ended up crossing 3 nations. So that's why all the numbers were kind of changing and spawning new numbers. And there are trans-European ones, that EU railway designations, that kind of guide you along the way. But we were shifting on and in and out of those too. So it just created this whole cornucopia of road names that was really kind of entertaining. And I mean, I suppose if the United States were smaller, we would have the same kind of thing too, right? Mexico, Canada, the US would have different designations, their own designations, and then there would probably be an international designation for some roads too. But the US being kind of the humongous size that it is, we don't really cross borders that often. And we do have county roads and kind of city roads and all kinds of stuff like that, state highways and things too. So we do have different numbering systems in the US for states, but it's not quite so glaringly obvious that it's kind of all these random numbers put together, especially when you're crossing smaller countries like that too. But 4 hours and a half left in our journey here. It is, I think we'll probably have to sleep in a little bit. But I want to talk about the AI drivers, because I went through all of our data and looking at the AI drivers, and it's starting to get to the point where I think we kind of make some interesting statements about this. At least one statement seems to be true, and it's a very interesting statement for me to see. But just to kind of sum up again, what we're trying to do is to figure out, does it make sense? Does it make a difference how you develop your hired drivers, the AI drivers that drive for you? What are some development patterns that would make the most sense if you want them to make the most money in the quickest fashion, especially as you're starting out to getting them to the level up and stuff like that? So to that end, we bought a base, we bought 5 identical trucks, and we hired 5 drivers at exactly the same time, and then gave them different development patterns and keeping track of how much money they make to see which of the 5 drivers, or if there are any differences in their patterns of development. So let's kind of walk through. I've got the notes here for the top drivers here. Our number 1 top driver right now, and we'll talk a little bit about it, is William. Now he's on a balanced load, so we're basically the first 5 skill attributes, we're just kind of working our way across. And now he's got 1 point in all 5. He's working now on ADR, which is I think his 6th level up point. So he's got 1 point in all 5. He's leading the pack with 20,000 euros. Then in second place is Max, right behind him, 19,500 euros, basically no difference. His pattern was 1 skill point in each of the first 3, so ADR, long distance, and then fragile cargo, I think it is, or high value cargo, and then concentrate on ADR. And he's at the point now where he's concentrating on ADR, and he's made 19,500 euros, so basically the same thing as William. Number 3 is Sophie. She's made 19,000 euros, and hers was, get this, we're starting to see a pattern here, right? Balanced across all 5 of the first attribute areas, and then concentrating in long distance. So right now she's perfectly balanced, and now we're focusing her on long distance. She's made 19,000 euros. So really, I think statistically, there's probably no difference, analytically, no difference between William, Max, and Sophie at this point. They're all roughly about the same, and they all started out with kind of a balanced development pattern. Number 4, a little bit away from them here, with 17,500 euros, is Patrick. And his pattern is strictly focused on ADR. And he's got 5 of the 6 ADR skill points right now. He's working on his 6th one. He's made 17,500 euros. So I'm not sure if statistically that's that great of a difference between the top 3, but he's focused and he's behind the other 3 drivers. This is the interesting one. Get this. Pierre. Now Pierre is focused exactly on long distance driving, nothing else. He's got 5 skill points in long distance driving. And he's working on his 6th skill point. 7,600 euros. He is 10,000 euros, roughly 10,000 euros behind the next driver. Now I remember too, somewhere early on in the game, someone left a comment and said you should have your drivers concentrate on long distance. This was a year or more ago. So I had done that for the longest time. But I think looking at what we can see here right now, I think it's fair to say that at the very least, you don't want to concentrate on long distance. And it seems like concentrating on things like ADR is not the best way to go. That balanced, at least over the first 5 skills. Now we left off the eco driving because that seems to just have a minimal impact on how much money you make. So we left off the eco driving and concentrating on those first 5 skill areas seems to be the best way for drivers to develop. So interesting stuff here. Now they're all about 5 skill points in. I think what we'll do is we'll continue this experiment till they get to like maybe 10 skill points, and then try to draw some conclusions for it too. The other interesting thing that I noticed too is that about Pierre, who's doing terribly, just absolutely terrible performance. He's only done 6 jobs, so he's focused completely in long distance. He's only done 6 jobs, which is the fewest by far of all the other drivers. Like William has got 13 different jobs, and someone else, I think it was Sophie, maybe has close to 20 jobs. So he's not making very much money with his long distance rides, and he's not getting very many jobs, which maybe lends credence to the fact that you need like that high value cargo or the ADR stuff or the fragile cargo to be able to get more jobs. And if you don't have that, you end up not getting jobs, because he just came back again from another place where he couldn't pick up a job, so he lost like 300 euros or something like that. So yeah, so interesting things going on there with that AI driver, the hired driver development patterns. I'm going to keep track of it again. We should have a lot of good data now after this one too, because we're going to get about 24 more hours of data, counting the 14-hour drive and the 9 hours of sleep and stuff like that in the game. So we'll update again at the next episode. I'm kind of curious too about the truck one, although I think it's funny though, because when I mention this, like, trucks matter, and then usually in the comments someone will say, well, no, trucks don't matter. And I think they didn't at one point, but I do think they do now. And then most people do seem to have concluded that trucks matter. And I'm not doing it really to try to prove a point. I'm just trying to do it we're going to buy new trucks and garages anyway, so we might as well kind of +1 that, right? And try to do some interesting things with the money as we're buying trucks and garages and stuff like that too. So we have frittered away another couple of hours of the drive talking about that. About 2.5 hours left on our journey here. It's now about 3 o'clock in the afternoon in France on Thursday afternoon. We'll check in as we get about an hour away from our destination. Hope we get a nice challenging back up here. Haven't driven for a while, but I'll talk about that in the next hour. See you in a bit. We are just whistling across the French countryside here. Speed limit's 80 kilometers an hour. Been able to go about 84, 85 the whole way. No slowdown so far, just kind of making our way across the countryside here. It's a fun little drive. Now, I do want to mention just a couple quick things. I know this is Wednesday instead of Tuesday. It's supposed to be Trucker Tuesday, and I missed the last 2 Trucker Tuesdays. They turned into Trucker Wednesdays. I was actually on vacation the past 5 days, so I just got back into town last night. I still have a couple more days off to kind of relax and make videos and enjoy myself and yawn as we're sleeping here too. So I apologize for the day delay, but Trucker Tuesdays is still a thing. Still going to keep it up for a while. It looks like I'm going to guess like the next 2 months or so. I kind of went through when I was on vacation and kind of plotted out a path to getting caught up with all of the kind of tabletop games that I've got to review and stuff like that. It looks like it's going to take into June. So Trucker Tuesday, I think, is going to be a thing for about 2 or 3 more months. Although I do want to say, I know people have asked for this quite a bit, and people have posted on the save too. I'm toying with the idea of adding in some SnowRunner to this too, because I've been really having a desire to play SnowRunner again. And so we went to a beach, right? Because it's cold here, so we wanted to go someplace warm. I went with my wife, went to a beach, and it was really fun. And while we were there, there's a lot of seaweed on this beach. One of the coolest things that talk about getting an urge to play SnowRunner, right? So they had these trucks coming down, and they would bring them onto the beach to pick up the seaweed, because there was just gobs of it that they would come in. So they'd bring in kind of a front end loader, and then a dump truck. And the beach was only where they could drive on the sand. Between like the higher sand they couldn't drive on and the hard sand that they could drive on, they're driving these dump trucks right into the waves, basically. I mean, the waves are crashing against the side of the dump truck, and they're pulling it up, and they're loading it up and filling it up with seaweed and taking it out and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, I want to do that job. Just had such an urge to play SnowRunner, because you get the water, the truck is tilted a little bit sideways, the waves are crashing into the side of the truck, and the guys are just threading the needle. What is this here? Question mark. Yes, third dealership, Renault, here that we picked up on this drive. We're just racking up the question marks as we come into the final destination here. We do need to sleep. I'm going to sleep first and then try to back the truck up. But yeah, it was really cool. I should have taken some pictures of it, because it was pretty cool. I thought the trucks would sink into the sand, but apparently the sand is really hard packed there. But they couldn't sit for a while, because if they sat for a while, the waves would come into the wheels and it would cause them to sink down, because it would wash the water away. So they had to keep moving, it was really cool to watch. But absolute 100% urge to play SnowRunner and just kind of drive trucks through water and mud and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm thinking about that. I was thinking about changing over. I have it on Epic Games, switching over to Steam and getting the new Season 3 upgrade, and then starting over again with hard mode and seeing how we could do it. Because it's been a while since we played. But let me know your thoughts. You'd be interested in see some SnowRunner mixed in with Trucker Tuesdays. So we'll go one every 3 then. That would make the Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator stuff a little bit farther apart, just for the next 2-3 months or so. Because then I think what I want to try to do is to get the trucking episodes back up to 2 a week rather than 1 a week. So kind of 1 Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, maybe mix in some SnowRunner there too. So that's our destination straight ahead here. But I'm going to go get gas, and then we'll pull around and try to park. We're going to sleep here, right here. We're going to sleep at this gas station, and then, not a gas station, this repair shop. And then we'll go park this truck. I wish this were real life. We just slept 9 hours and we made about, what, 100,000? No, 80,000 euros? I wish I could do that in real life. We're going to fix the truck here, too. Just get it snapped up here. Ooh, 8% damage on the wheels. Engine, transmission. I don't know if we hit anything there, but it's good that we repaired it. Let's get out of here. Let's go park this thing. Alrighty, so it is Friday, about 2:30 in the morning. Thankfully, they're open. I hope we get a 90 parking spot. I feel like it's going to be a 40, but 90, nice. Where is it? Right there? That does not look hard at all. I'm sorry, but that just looks much, much easier than a lot of 40s that we've got. I feel like we can just swing around right here completely and then just back straight up into it. There's plenty of room in front of this. Like, why would this be a 90? This feels like a 15. This feels like a, just give me the easy way out. Now watch, if I don't nail this in the first shot, I'm going to be really embarrassed. All right, here we go. I have to get this first shot, right? Otherwise, this would be extraordinarily embarrassing to say that and then not be able to do this. I feel like I need to go fast with this too, right? Let's be bold. Whoops, I'm screwing this up, aren't I? Whoops, I am screwing this up. No, no, please. I can't screw this up. I gotta save it. I'm gonna miss this, aren't I? Too wide. Oh, I screwed it up. Seriously? I can get it by pulling forward. That, I haven't... Okay, no excuse. Oh, seriously, that's embarrassing. I was way too overconfident on that one. This is the way I should have done it. Now we are right in the middle here. Humility, right? Humility. Why isn't this correct? There we go. That's what happens when you get a little bit cocky, right? You got to stay humble in life. Work hard, stay humble. We are here. Finally arrived. I can't believe I missed the parking, but let's get our money. It's going to be a good chunk of money here. We're now up to 540,000 euros. I think this was 30,000 maybe? Was it that much? It's a pretty good chunk of change. 17,000, 18, a lot of bonuses. Yeah, 34,000. Moving up towards, wow, that put us a good chunk of the way towards level 35. We're heading towards, we are elite. I don't know what comes after elite. There you go. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll put a link to our next episode as soon as it's available. Hopefully we're going to gather some, going to work for getting that kind of last 3 cities in France to get the French cities achievement. We'll see you in the next episode. Love to hear your comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.